Exercise 407, comparing data sets using charts. We're going to look at two types of charts today, radar charts and area charts. Now, you haven't seen area charts before. So, last year, I think you did see radar charts, but only with one set of data. In HSC topic, we compare two sets of data on the one chart. So a radar chart is a circular line graph used to show changes over a cycle. It's really good for showing weather over the year, January, February, March, April, etc., through to December. And we can see that it's for Perisher, I think, is the darker one, and Thredbo is the lighter one on the inside. So it says the number of clear days each month over a year at Thredbo and Perisher ski fields in the Snowy Mountains are shown in the radar chart. How many clear days did Thredbo have in March? So looking, all right, what I need to do is zoom in. Girls, you need to be able to see, yeah, so Thredbo in March, it's this one, but see 4 is all the way around this spider net sort of thing. Do you see? 6 is all the way around there. 8 is all the way round. Can you see how it goes? All right, so how many clear days in March for Thredbo? Thredbo, March, here it is. What's that? It's 4. Okay, what was the highest number of clear days at any ski field? So the highest number of clear days, well, look, this one seems to be the biggest number. So it was 9, and I'm just going to put in brackets, which ski field was that? This is your highest. Yeah, 9, and when and where? So Perisher in which month?
April.
Yeah, Perisher in April. So these aren't hard to read, okay? You keep going. So, remember the graph shows the number of clear days. So how many days were not clear in Perisher in July? Here's Perisher, here's July. There were 8 clear days. How many days were not clear? How many days in July? 31. 30 days has September, April, June and November. So it's 31 take away 8 is 23 days. Which month showed the greatest difference in the number of clear days between both ski fields? It's the one with the biggest gap. It looks like what? Look, September's very close. No, it's April. I think it's April.
Because this dude said it. Where? Gap between the two things.
The gap between the two. It's the gap between the two, but there's just a very weird reading for between both ski fields. The greatest difference in the number of clear days between both ski fields. It's the biggest gap, and it looks like it's which one? April. It's got the biggest gap. Like April, this looks like 9, and this one looks like sort of 5. It's between 4 and 5. I don't know how. They've just graphed it not very well. So it's April. So it's got the biggest gap between them. Biggest gap. It's about 9 minus 4.5, or I don't know how you can have half a clear day. Maybe there are half days. I'll just go 9 minus 5. Well, no, it looks a bit bigger than the March one, doesn't it? It is bigger than the March, bigger than the Feb. Yeah, 9 minus, I'm just going to put about 4.5, because that's what it looks like to me. And do you agree with the statement, the weather is better for skiing at Perisher?
Yes.
Yeah, because you don't want to ski in a snowstorm. Believe me, it's shocking, right? Shocking. So, do you agree the weather is better for skiing at Perisher?
Yes.
Look, you've got to look at a few things as well. You've got to make sure you've got enough snow as well. Because we could put more clear days might mean less snow. Do you know what I mean? More clear days could mean
These questions are so weird.
less snow.
Are we gonna get?
Do you know what I mean?
No.
I mean, even though it's better to, so it is better to ski when it's clear, but it is better to ski when it's clear. but you need to know the snow conditions, need to know the snow conditions / report. Everyone checks the ski report before they ski. A HSC question, 2006, question 23. This radar chart was used to display the average daily temperatures in each month for 2 different towns. See, radar charts are really good for this: January, February, March, April, etc. All right. And it says, what is the average daily temperature of town B? Just have a go yourselves for these 3 questions and then we'll go through them. Temperature for town B in April. Well, here's April. There's town B. This line here, I'm going along it, is 20. And this one here is 15. So it looks like it's 19, just before 20. And in which month do the average daily temperatures of the 2 towns have the greatest difference? You're looking for the biggest gap, and then you need to confirm it with anything that might look a bit closer. Look, I think February is the largest. It's quite big compared to the others. And so what's that? February. It's definitely February. And in which months is the average daily temperature in town B higher than town A? It's which months. You have to get them all. Make sure you get them all. Town B is the solid one. It's where it comes out further. It looks like May, June, July, August, September, October. It's lower. So you would go May through to September, including both. Yeah. Area charts. An area chart consists of layers or bands, each representing a data set over a period of time. You've got to be really careful how you read these, okay? It is used to compare 2 or more sets of data. So if you look here, see the costs is this section and the profit is that section. What I might actually do, I'm not going to do that multiple choice question first. I'm going to show you something else first. We're going to look at this question down here. All right, now, actually, okay, before we start, we're just going to look at the example in the book. In the year 2004, the table shows the number of males and females attending rugby matches. So in 2004, 36,000 males, 11,000 females. In 2005, 24,000 males, 9,000 females. Now look here. What we've got is males. So males is in pink. And the numbers are 36, 24, 21. Look, 36 for 2004, 24, 21, right? And then for 2007, it says 33, whatever. The bottom graph is drawn normally. But what you've got to do is that we put the female data above the male data. So look here. What's 36 and 11 equal to? Well, were there more males or females in 2004? A lot more males, right? But what's 36 plus 11 equal to? 47. The graph, see, that's the 36 for males and then the 11 on top for females. And it finishes at 47. So that little section is the females and this big section is the males, okay? You don't then draw the females down here. You put them on top, you layer it on top. Let's look at 2005. The males is 24,000 and the females is 9. What's 24 and 9? 33. We had 24 and 9. Look down here for 2004. 24 and the 9 on top gives you 33. So that's how an area chart works. Do you get it? Yes. All right, the next one, 21 and 15 takes me up to 36. There's your 21 for males and that's your 15 for females. Adds up to 36. So we layer it on top. Got an area chart. 2010 HSC question 21 shows the cost. The cost is the dotted bits down here. And the profits are the lined bits on top. Already looking, you're making as, aren't the costs a lot more than the profit? See here the cost is that much, the profit's this much. Here the cost is that much, the profit's that bit. Here, the cost is that, the profit's that. You could put an imaginary scale along this side and say 5, 10, 15. You get an idea of how much. But can we see that the profit is a lot less than the costs. So this down here, these four answers, so it says they use the area chart to show the cost and profits for a business over a period of time. The information in the area graph is then displayed as a line graph. Now with the line graph, everything has to start from 0. So costs, I think all the four graphs are the same. Can you see that? For the costs, and they are. The cost graph is exactly the same as what you see. Now, let's say this is 10,000. What might this be? Let's say that was 10.
1,000.
That might be about 4.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So this is up here. It's got to be down here somewhere. It's one of these two.
Oh,
All right, what about this? Do you think this here is bigger than that amount there?
Yeah.
So it looks like it's going up.
But then it goes back down.
Wait, but then this is small. The profit here is small. It's got to be this one. It's going back down. Actually, that and that probably aren't very different. Do you see that? If you get a ruler and measure this and that, I think that's not much different. This is smaller. This is even smaller. Do you see that? That profit? It's got to be this graph. Why is it this graph and not something like that? Because, see, the cost and the profits are almost the same, but they're not in real life. Here's the cost and there's the profit. It's tiny. Do you see that? It's got to be graph B.
And why is it not the same?
Oh, because look at the profit. The profit is the dotted line. It's saying you've got more profit. Guys, these are line graphs. All right.
Oh.
These are line graphs. This is not an area chart here. This is a line graph. So I've got the original data here for cost. It would be the same as that. But the profit here is very small. And it's smaller than wouldn't you say this profit is smaller than the cost? That's the cost. That little bit there is the profit. Because the actual profits are higher than the costs. Can you see that? It's either out of B and C because the profits, look, D has got profits less than the cost, but they're almost the same as the cost. According to this graph, there's only a tiny bit of profit compared to the cost. Okay, so it's out of B or C. Now, the problem with C is that it's showing more profit as time goes on. Do you see that? That's indicating more profit. But if you look at these gaps, you actually got less profit. The gap is the difference between that might be 1, whereas this might be 5. If I looked at the difference here on a scale. The company sells handbags in Paris, New York, and Florence. Use the data in this table to complete the area chart. But you know what I'm going to do as well? I'm going to show all the other information as well. So I'm going to draw up an extra table here in a minute, right? And we're going to put the 2 cities that are already there. Autumn, summer, spring, winter. And the first 2, this dotted one is Florence, and the next one up is New York. Now, they're shown on the graph as already, Florence and New York. Now, what we're going to do, let's just read what we've got. So, winter, for the bottom one you can see here, are the dots, which is Florence. What's winter's Florence value? 20? It's 20,000 actually. So 20,000. Spring for Florence. What is it? I think that's 30, isn't it? 30,000. Okay, this is going to help you the most. What's summer for Florence? Is it back to 20? Back to 20,000. So the bottom one is easy to read. You just read it as normal. And what is autumn? Looks like the same, isn't it? 20,000. Now that's Florence. The bottom one is always the same. It's as you see it. But this next one, the white section, is New York. New York goes from 20 to 50. What is the
10.
no, 20 to 50. 30. That's 30,000.
The next one.
Do you see that? The difference. See, New York is added on top. And New York goes from 20 to 50. Can you see that? All right. And spring is from 30 to 60, which is 30 to 60. What's that jump? 30 as well. And here's the next one, which is summer. It's from 20 to 40. What's that? See how it's come together? How the white section looks smaller now here? Do you see what we're doing, guys? Now, and autumn is from 20 to 50, which is 30,000. Now, this is how you read it. Let me look at the two I've done so far for winter. 20 and 30 takes my graph up to 50. Do you see that? Spring, 30 and 30 takes my graph up to 60. Can you see it? Summer, the bottom two, 20 and 20 takes my graph up to 40, and it's at 40. And 20 and 30 for autumn, 20 and 30 takes my graph up to 50. Can you see, I've got, for New York, I've got 3 sections that are 30,000, 30,000, 30,000, 30,000, and this one here is 20,000. So, you know, this gap is 30,000, this gap's 30,000, then it's only 20,000. See how it comes together? Looks smaller in here, but then it's back up to 30,000 gap. All right, now I have to add Paris on top with stroked lines, like diagonal lines. Now, these are the figures for Paris. Number of handbags sold in Paris in winter, 60,000. How high should I go up? I'm already sitting on 50. I have to add 60,000 to that. I go up to 110, so put a dot. Do you get it? So far, it's 20 and 30. If I add 60,000 here for Paris, it takes me up to 110. It's up there. Oh, I just wrote Paris 60,000. I thought I'd put them all on the one graph. Do you know what I mean? The next one is spring, Paris 70,000. See, 30 and 30, 60, and another 70. See, 30 and 30, and another 70, 60 and 70, 130,000 up here, right up there. You see it? Get the idea? 50,000 for summer. So you've got to add on 50,000 from here. See, 20 and 20 takes you up to 40, and another 50 is 90. 90,000. Do you get it? All right, so the way we read Paris, we don't say Paris is 110,000. This is not a line graph. Paris is that area between there and there. All right? And the last one, autumn for Paris, is 70,000. So 70,000 already on top of 50,000. 50 and 70 is 120,000. And then you get a ruler, which I don't seem to have. Right? And then you have to do the same pattern as Paris, which is diagonal lines. Okay? And there's Paris. Do you get it? All right. Okay, now that was worth 2 marks in the 2011 HSC. Okay? You don't have to do this here, down the bottom. I did that to explain to you what these 2 bottom sections meant. This is what we do not do. For the bottom, yes, that is a line graph. But the next one, you don't say that New York is 50,000, 60,000. You don't say that. New York is the white section between 50 and 20, which is 30,000. All right? It's not a line graph. It's an area. And then we can look at it and we can say, when were sales in the white section, which is New York, the least? Looks here. These two are the closest together. Do you see that? Right? Now that we understand that, let's go back up to the top question. When was the profit the least? Here. Do you see that? Smallest section. For the 2009 HSC, question 24B. Tarvin is an international company that reports its profits in the USA, Belgium, and India. So we've got USA is the top section, Belgium is next, and then India. I will zoom in a minute. And it shows them at the start of each quarter. It shows the profits at the start of each quarter. And what they show in this graph is the profits for 2008. Remember, there's 4 quarters in a year, okay? Now, the first question is, what is the profit? Now, Tarvin is an international company that reports its profits in the USA, Belgium, and India. All right, so Tarvan has companies in all those 3 countries. What was the total profit for June 30? Which one are you going to read? Yeah, you go straight to the top. That's everybody. They want to know about all 3 countries. Now, you do not go, it's that, and then you read that one again and that one again. It shows you the total profit straight away. So this sort of graph is great for multinational businesses. You know, where the section is really thin, well, that's the country that's not doing so well. Where the section is really big, that's the country that's doing the best. Do you know what I mean? So the total profit is this. The beautiful thing about area graphs is that it gives you the total. Yeah, it is like a cumulative frequency thing. Yes, that's right. It is. So the total profit is 8 million. What you do not do is read this and then say 4 and then add on 8 and get something like 16 or 14. It's not that. Now, part 2, what was Tavan's profit in Belgium on March the 31st? Belgium. So it's not 5 million. What is it? Belgium. Belgium's this section.
Million.
It's just 5 million minus 1 million. Do you see that? It's 5 minus 1, 4 million. 5 million minus 1 million. $4 million. Don't put $4. You put $4, you get it wrong. See, question 27. The area graph shows sales figures for Shoey's shoe store. So we've got boots, school shoes, and business shoes, okay? Approximately how many school shoes were sold in January? January. School shoes. School shoes is the black section, so you have to subtract. Look, I think that's the same amount up here as it is from there. I think it's about, you could call that 18,000 minus 3,000. Let's have a look. We're looking for the black section.
It's around
Look, that's about 18 and that's about 3,000. So 18 minus 3, or it looks the same amount. It's the same. Or it's in the, do you reckon it's a bit more?
In the middle.
Yep, and do you think the other one is as well?
No, the other one isn't. Wait, which one? The one at the bottom.
Yeah. So I think that's about 3,000. What you think the other one's about?
17,000.
All right. All right. So we'll go 17,500 minus about 3,000 equals 14,500. And you know what? If you can't read it properly, you put approximately to cover yourself. Or you might think it's somewhere between 14,000 or 14,500 and 15,000. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Yeah, you could if it's really hard to read. Next, for which month does the graph indicate that the same number of school shoes and business shoes were sold? Now, you're not going to start subtracting all the numbers. You're looking for, look here, school shoes, is that a lot? Business shoes is less. Can you see? Here, school shoes is a lot, business is less. Do you really think, I'm in March, I don't think those two sections are the same. So what you do, you then get your ruler out to confirm in millimeters and you measure. Let's just wipe out what we think's not right. December's not right, that's not right, that's not right. Yep. And I think July's not right, neither's August and neither's June. It looks like April to me. So sorry, you couldn't see what I was doing. Looks like April. It looks like this section here equals this section there. Anyone got any measurements?
Yeah.
So we're thinking it's April. Okay? So we're thinking it's April. What are you getting in measurements in millimeters? Can you see that?
It's like 12 to 13.
About 12 to 13 millimeters for
Yeah,
each.
and,
Yeah.
Wait, what for each?
All together.
Altogether, and then for each it's like
6
something,
point. Yeah. Do you see that, girls? So this section is about the same as this one. All right? And the last one, part 3, identify one trend in this graph and suggest a valid reason. Now, all right, what do you think's happening with, look at the bottom one, the boots.
The boots increase.
In?
the
Is this
winter.
in, well, hopefully this is Australia. Boots are increasing in winter. Yep. But look at the
Why would
business
they buy?
shoes, guys. Does business shoes look fairly consistent throughout the year? Yeah, it does. Well, slightly, but not really. It's fairly consistent. Business shoes are fairly consistent throughout the year because I don't think that's really what you'd call season dependent. However, yes, it is slightly bigger in December because people are probably buying something for Christmas. All right? All right. School shoes, huge in January when everyone's out buying school shoes.
Going back to school.
All right? So, but then March and then
It's
they,
such a big job.
so look,
Yeah, because they know the restock.
so you could say the business shoes, for example, business shoes is fairly consistent sales throughout the year.
We still go on the first shoes.
Throughout the year. It's not season dependent. Do you know what I mean? It's not really season dependent. Whereas boots, you know, why would there still be sales of boots in January and that? They're probably on sale. Who knows? You know, another thing you could say that the boots peak, boots sales peak
I mean,
in the winter months.
you
know?
like the construction worker boots.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just giving you some possibilities.
Construction worker boots.
Peak in the winter months. Do you know what I mean? And you need to say what they are. May, June. Yeah. Or, you know, and on either side, just before winter and, yeah. And then still, after winter, you'd still have some good sales because people are selling off. You know, they're on sale. Around, I'm going to go around the winter months. And school shoes, if you had to, peak in January, February. Peak in January / Feb as, you know, as it's back to school time.
Next.
All right.